Okay, the recording is starting right now. All right, so why I'm explaining, if I am like explaining too fast, you guys can talk to me to slow down, because sometimes I speak a little bit fast, or sometimes if you're not like clear, you can always talk in the chat, or you can always ask in the chat about any questions that you want me to clarify. Okay, so let's get started. So the question: write a C++ program that asks a user for a n number and then print a large grid. Oops, someone is unmuted. Okay. And then print a large grid of small squares. Each small square has size of n minus 1 times n minus 1. Okay, and contain a strike symbol. The large grid should have n rows, each of which contain n squared, with a blank column separating the square. The row of a small square in the large grid should be separated by a blank row. Okay. So each small square contain n minus 1, which is like if the input is 3, you need to print n minus 1 square. Okay. The large is this one. It needs to have the n row of the small square, okay, the n colon of the small square. And then you need to separate each small square with a blank, and then each column with a blank, and then each row with a space. Okay, so so this is uh, so when you see this problem, you guys need to like realize, okay, this is a nested loop problem. So first thing is I would suggest is write some index. Okay. So let's see. So this thing is index 0. This thing is index 1. All these things is index 2. Let's say that for now. Okay. Okay. And then so this is column. We have 3 row, 3 column. But like, okay, let's print the inner this loop first. Okay. So how can we print that inner loop? Will you email this recording? Yes, we will email this recording. Yes. Okay. We will email you. Okay. I don't think. Yeah, I think Professor will also post it on the Brightspace. Okay. So when you see like this inner loop, so this is like 2 by 2, which is like 2 times 2. So, but like when you see this column, okay, you need to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, okay, so visual. Okay, so before that, okay, let's do the asking the user and numbers of n first. Okay, so to do that, let's start with blue IO stream using name space std and then an int main. And then to ask a user, you need to always ask int n. So first declare a variable to receive the input from the user, and then cout enter a number. Okay, ENDL, and then Cin n. Okay, so you ask the user to enter the n, and then let me do. Okay, and then let's think about the grid side. So first, we need to do a nested loop. So let's write the two nested loop, and we need to think about the size of it. Okay. Okay. So let's find the pattern to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what does it mean that size? What does it mean that size of each small square has the size of n minus 1 times n minus 1. So this each small square has a n minus 1 sign, and minus 1 mean this small square. See, this small square, each small square has n minus 1. Okay, that is why we need to have n minus square in each block. Okay, and then this is a smaller group, so the larger group is this one. This is 3 by 3 because of the input is 3. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So you need to print 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's look at this one. Okay. So let's draw like this. Okay, let me draw like this. So this has this. In the middle, there's a space. Okay, so this has this. Let me draw more clearly. So this is this. Okay. So here, oops. Here is like this. Okay. So each and by one. Okay. Oh, whatever. Okay. Okay, and then let's name the rules and color. Okay, so this is a row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, So 1, 2. So this is space. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there's another space. Then in here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then there's a space. So as you can see, after you name each row and each column, so your 3 is, so how can you relate with these number? Okay, so each time, so here is star, star, space, star, star, space, star, star, space. So there is a space here, okay? And here is also, there is a space blank here, okay? And then this is a column. So each column you need to write like that, and then each row is the same. Star, star, space, star, star, space, star, star, space. Okay. Let's see. So why are the second and fifth row big in your screen? Because I zoom in too much. Like when you draw the line, it looks like it's big. Okay. Yes, there's two space in the row. Uh, okay. So, let's see. Okay. So, I am going to change the index starting from 1 because I think it will be easier to explain because you can relate easily. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I think I left one more line here. Yeah. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So when the input is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when the input is 3, the size of the row and then the size of the column is become 9 by 9. Okay, 3 times 3 and 3 times 3. All right. So as you can see, we start from 1 to 9. Why? Because the input n is 3. And then every time this 1, 2 cannot be divisible by 3. All right. So if the index, the row or the column, so let's say I is the row index and then j is the column index. Now, if they are not divisible by 3, okay, if they are not divisible by 3, mean if when you mod by 3, you will not get 0. If you don't get 0, it's not divisible by 3, and then you need to print the star. Otherwise, if each row is mod by 3, you need to print the space. Okay. Does anyone clear? I know I a little bit confuse you, do I? Do you want me to explain again? Yes, okay. Let's start. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So, uh, so to solve this problem, okay, let's get started. Let's get started. Let's see. Okay. So when you solve this problem, every time you solve a problem like this, like draw a stars or draw a triangle or draw a pyramid, every time I suggest you draw. I suggest you draw like grid, or I suggest you name each index, each line, then find the pattern from there. Okay, so here, if I draw, I mean, if I, uh, okay, let me draw. So if I draw each line, okay, you will see some pattern. Okay, first thing first, every time you solve like this problem, draw a grid first. Okay, and then after you draw a grid, name the index. Okay, for example, this is a row 1, it's a row 2, it's a row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, and then row 9. Okay, and then here is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, sorry, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7, column 8, and column 9. Okay, do you understand this so far? Okay, great. So after you label, we are going to find some um, uh, pattern. Okay, so can we use RNC for row? Yes, for sure. Okay. All right. After you label, okay, this is after you label, we are going to find the pattern. So the input is 3. Okay. So if the input is 3, you see here, you check. When you start 1, you ends with the 9. Okay. And then when you start 1, you end with the 9. Right? But like this 9 doesn't need to do anything because like you don't need to print anything here, or you don't need to print anything here. So you can just ignore this 9. Okay. So 1 to 8. 1 to 8, and then the input is 3. So if you multiply, let's see, how can I get 8? How can I get like less than 8 from 3? So if you multiply n times n, which is 3 times 3, you get 9. So if you start 1, you should do until the row or the column is less than 9. Okay, which is you get from n times n. One n is 3. Okay, so why we find this? So we need to find this so that we will see when the loop ends. If we don't know, like when does it end, it is a little bit difficult to write nested loop. Okay, so let's start with this outer root is always row. So in r equal 1, and then r is less than n times n. Okay, and then r that's plus. So this outer loop. The outer loop is loop through this row. Okay, and then inner loop is for column. So C start from 1, C is less than n times n, and then C plus plus. Okay, so this is for the nested loop. But like we need to think about one we are going to print the star and one we are going to print the space. Okay, does anyone get this so far? Or any question, any clarification? Yes, okay. Okay. So okay, question. I think
Sorry,
some.
Torto, I have a question.
Mhm.
Why did you put n times n? Because I get 3 times 3 equals 9. Is that the reason you said that the row is less than n times n and column is less than n times n?
Yes, because here, so the question is let's see in the question. So in the question, would a oops, so would a blank column separating the square? So let me draw this. So this is one square. So each square you need to separate with the space. But like there is nothing here. There's no more square here. So you don't need to put space. So yes, I use anti-n to get 9. But like it is less than 9 mean 9 is not included. It will go from 1 to 8. Because like we want to put the space just between the small square, not outside the square, small square. So because like this is like we are done in the number 8 column. Okay, great. Yes. Okay. So let's continue. We now, after we get the okay, one we need to end and one we are going to start, we need to think about one we are going to print. Okay, what condition we need to print the star. Okay, so when you see, so okay, 1, 2 is star, and then 3 is space. Hey, 4, 5 is star, and 6 is space. Okay, so 1, 2 is when you think 1, 2 not cannot divisible by 3. Oh, 3 is divisible by 3. So you print a space. Right? And a 4, 5 is cannot divisible by 3. 6 is divisible by 3. You print the space. This in the column. So when you look at the row, the same 1, 2, 1 you're not divisible by 3. You print a star. When you're divisible by 3, you print a space. Okay? So this is not only true for 3. So if I do, let's say 2, okay, 2 mean, no, let's do n equal 4. What if n is 4? So the small square is 3 by 3. Okay, these are 3 star. And then we need a space. And then another, let's copy, let's duplicate. Okay, another 3 star. Okay, and then another 3 star. And then another 3 star. Hmm. This is the same for uh, 4. Okay, so we have 3 by 3 small square and then 4 by 4 the big square, and then each small square is separated by the space. So do when you write an index, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. So 1, 2, 3 cannot be divisible by 4, and then you print a star. 4 is divisible by 4, and then you print the space. In the column, 1, 2, 3 is divisible by uh not divisible by 4, and then 4 is divisible by 4, so you print the space. Okay? Or you can just skip it. You can just skip if the row is divisible by 4, just E and D L. Go to the next line. You don't need to print anything. Okay? Does anyone get the idea of how you can get the condition? So in the test, it will not be the same, but like my suggestion is try to find a pattern. Okay, try to find a pattern, and then sometimes it is difficult. It takes time. So in the test, I suggest do this problem in the end, in the last time, because this takes time. But when you see the trick, it is very easy to write it, the code. Okay? Okay. If anyone doesn't have question, I am going to move on. Does anyone have any question? Okay, I take the as a no. So okay, let's do the condition. Okay, let's think about the row first. If the row is divisible by the number n, we do nothing, we just skip it. Okay, so let's do the first. If the row is mod n equal 0, if the row is divisible by n, what we do is cout endl. Okay, we skip it. So the finished code? No, not yet. This is not finished code yet. Okay. Otherwise, else, we do the other thing. Okay. So if it is not mod by n, so we need to check that each column. Okay. This is done with a row. Okay. View is a mod for the space. Oh, don't skip. Okay. Okay. I think oh yeah, yes. You cannot skip the line because okay, that is my mistake. Okay, you cannot skip the line because you are writing inside the nested loop, which means uh it will run, it will mess up the code, so you cannot write it. Okay, this is a bad one. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. Okay, if the row is divisible by n, let's keep with the printing space. Okay, so cout print the space. Okay, because it's a column. Okay, in this column, in this inner loop is loop the column. So if here, when you look at this is a column. Okay, each column, if you divisible by 3, you don't need to print anything. So if it's a 3 in the loop, okay, whereas the column is 1, print a space, when the column is 2, print a space, print a space, print a space, print a space. Okay, and then let's check if the, otherwise you need to check the column mod by n. If you colon mod n and if you get 0, okay, you cout the space, and otherwise you cout the star. Okay, let's check the parent column. Let's check the bracket. Okay, and this, and then in the end you need to print return 0. Okay, so let's run through it. So first, you ask the user. If the user enter a number, CNN. So if the user is n, this is 1 to 8. This is 1 to 8. This is 1 to 8. So if the row is 1, 1 divisible by n mean 1 divisible by 3 is not equal 0. So you go here, and then you check if the column is 1. So if 1 is not divisible by n, or 1 is divisible by 0, it's not divisible by 0, so you print a star. If and then n becomes your 2. So row is still row stay 1, so it goes here. Column is 2. It is not divisible by 3, so it goes here. It print the star, and then column is now 3. One column is 3. You go here. Column is 3 divisible by 3. It is 0, so you print a space. So this is row 1, column 3. You print a space. Okay. Okay. Any question about that? Okay, where in the code make the row of the space? So, okay. So you might ask where I print this line. Okay. So, okay, let's check. Row is 1. Okay, let's skip. Row is 2, and row is now 3. Okay. Let's see. Row is 3 now. Okay. If the plus, okay, why in the row 8? Okay. So row is 3. One row is 3. You got here. Row is 3. And then n is 3. So 3 divisible by 3. 0. You print the space. Okay. So you print the space. And then you don't need to do this. You don't need to do anything else. You only print it. It doesn't matter what the column is, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or anything. As long as the row is divisible by 3, just print the space. So we have column 1 to column 8. So it will be like row is printing the space 8 times, which become 8 spaces. That is how I print the space. So I make a condition. If the row is divisible by 3, you just keep printing the space. The same as here, one column is divisible by 3. The whole line is just like a space, like a line. Okay, great. Okay, another thing is that okay. Oh, I forgot one thing here. So after the inner loop, so this inner loop, I forget that I need to go to the next line. CLENDL. Okay. Okay, why n is 8, where n is 3? Yes, so why 8? Because like 8 is here. Now when we do like n times n, we get 9. So we need to print from 1 to 8. So here is like less than so this 3 times 3, you get 9. So as long as r is less than 9, which means as long as r is 8, you need to print like that. Okay, any question about this problem? I will post this my note in Code for Discord. Or if I can, I will just put it in the chat. If okay. Okay. I think the next problem is number 2, if I remember. Okay, let's go to number 2. Okay, so okay, another. Oh, this is not printing. This is fill in the blank. Okay. So if you have any question that you want me to go over, put it in the chat so I can make sure you understand those problems. Or if you have any question, you can just ask me. Yeah, I will send it later, or if I can, I will send it in the chat too. All right, so okay, let's do this. So okay, the following program asks the user to enter a number, then print a picture of triangle that print 2n-1 row and n column. Okay, if the n is 4, the program would print like this. Okay, so let's write the indices. Let's write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 2n-1. And that is n 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right? Every time you see these program, write the number first. Okay, let's look at the code. Code is in n. What is the n? So part A. Okay, this is an easy one. What do you think we should write in here? Cin, yes, Cin arrow n. So since we ask the user, okay, to enter n, right? And then, so the outer loop is this outer loop. This is for the row, okay? So row, is from 1 to 2n-1. Okay, 2n-1, when you calculate, 4 times 2 is 8, minus 1 is 7. Okay, so it will be here. You need to run from 1 to 7. Okay, so I can write like this. The same, I can just copy this formula here. R is equal to 1 and R is less than 2 and less than or equal. We write again. Less than or equal 2n-1. So it will be 2 times n minus 1. And then r plus plus. So it will be r less than or equal 2 times n minus 1 r plus plus. Okay. And then part C. So this is the inner loop, which is about the column. Okay, the other is row, this is column. The column is n column. N column in 1, 2, 4. Okay, so you can just write CS1 to CS less than or equal to n. And then C plus plus. Alright, C is less than or equal to n, then C plus plus. Okay, so in the D, so we need to think about the condition right now. So one, we are going to print the star. Okay, one, we are going to print the star. What do you think? Any idea?
Bueno, niño, pues,
Sorry. Okay, so why see out? Let's just what is n and not enter a number. And so get the part C. Okay, so what is C out? Dash that what is n and not enter a number. Okay, so this is okay. If you're talking about this can be anything. Okay, this is we can display anything. So it's the same. What is n is the same as enter a number. This is just asking the user. It can be anything. Okay, so how do you get the answer to part C? Okay. So how I get the answer to part C is from here. So I need to loop through from one row, one column to the n column. Okay. So in picture, if n is 4, 1, 2, n min 1, 2, 4. If n is 5, it will loop through 1, 2, 5. Okay, I get this because of the question is already given. If the question is not given, I need to figure it out. Okay, so you can sometimes, if the question is given, you can refer to that. Okay, all right. Okay, let's think about the hard part. The hard part is here. Okay, let's see. Let me choose this. So here, this is okay. This looks like one. If when you do 1, 1, you need to print, right? And then when you do 2, 2, you print. And when you 3, 3, when you 4, 4. Okay. And then whenever is less than that, you need to print. Okay. So this is the column and this is the row. So if the row is equal to column, yes, if the row is equal to column, or if the row is less than the column, if the row is less than the column, is less than the column, I would say the opposite. If the no, okay, you're right. Because if the row is 4 and then column is 1, row is greater. As long as row is greater, you should print. So you will get this upper triangle. You're right, Alyssa. Okay, how can we get the lower these three? Okay, we get the upper triangle. We need to get the lower triangle. Okay, so when you see so 5 is okay. So column is 1. Okay, how we got 5? Okay, how can we like compare? Because if you cannot write like as long as the column is less than row, you cannot write that because like if you do this only one condition, it will not satisfy this problem. You need to get another condition to satisfy this problem. So the another condition is the column must be less than or equal to 2n minus the row. Okay, how can we get this? How I got this? Okay, so let's see. 2n is 8 minus 5. Okay, is 3. Which means you get this number, and you get this number, and you get this number. Okay, so we think these outer star first before we do it. Okay, so the outer star, you can get it from 2n minus row. Okay, the same as here, same as here. Do you understand so far? Any question? So we cannot use C plus R is less than or equal as the second condition. Okay, let's check. C plus R is less than or equal 8. Okay. C plus R is 1. Okay, that is correct. 2 plus 1. Okay. When you do 2 plus 1, is also less than 8. And then we don't want to print any star here. Okay, but like we have another condition too. Okay, we have another this condition too, so we can check. Okay, no, as long as the C is less than the R. Okay, so let's check here. Okay, 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, yep, you don't print. And then 6 plus 3 is 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay, so what is about this? 3 plus 5 is 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. 7 plus 1 is 8. Okay. Yes, you can also use this condition too. This is also correct answer. Okay. You might think first, okay, this also need to be print. No, because like we have this condition. If you put these two conditions with and, that is also correct answer. So in this problem, this has more than one answer. Okay, so this is 8. So let's change 8 to n. No, not n. This need to be 2n minus 1. No, not 2n minus 2n, which is the same as here. Okay, you just put the r to the other side. All right. Any confusion? I think I confused a little bit too. Let me write again. Okay. So first condition is C is less than or equal rho. Okay, because like it satisfies all these one. Okay. And then when I put the n, it will be C is less than or equal to 2 times n minus rho. If it is satisfied, we are going to print the star. Otherwise, we are going to print the space. Okay, so the condition will be here. Let's write here. C is less than or equal to rho, and C is less than or equal to 2 and 2 times n minus rho. Okay, and then let's think about part E. So every time you finish the column, you go to next line. Okay, so go to next line, C R E N D L. All right. Any question? Okay. So can you explain where 2n minus r came from? Okay. 2n minus r is the same as, like you said, c plus r is less than equal to 2n. Okay. It is the same as this one. Right? So how I got this? So like sometimes when the question is asking about like not n, but like it's actually 2n minus 1. So sometimes you can also use like this, and you can also manipulate a little bit and then test it out, and you get this answer. So how I get this is like when you look at this, okay, so 5, 6, 7. So it's like because like n is only 4. How can I get like 5, 6, 7? It need to be more than 4. So what about I multiply with 2? It's 8. So if I got 8, how can I use that 8 to satisfy this row? Okay, and then so first, when you think about C is less than or equal to n, so 2 is 8, okay? 8, so C is always less than 8, okay? I don't want that. So that is why. What if I minus row? If you minus row, 8 minus 5 is 3. It won't be always greater than the column, okay? Yeah. sometimes you need to like test it out a little bit where you get came from, that row and column. Like it is like a little bit difficult to get it. This is how, okay, no problem. So yeah, so other problem we will go over with another tutor. Okay, Suleiman, can you go over the rest of it?
Yep. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Thank you, Mike. So now it's my turn. All right. Let me share my screen. Sharing. Everyone can see my screen, right? We're all good. Let me open up chat as well. We're all good. Okie dokie then. All right. So a bit of a warning at a time. My stylus has decided to forbid working for some reason. So I am going to be writing this all out with my mouse, and it will not be pleasant. Well, I'll try, but it won't be like the neatest. So, okay, so let's go over. I think from the questions in the chat, I'm just gonna go in order all that were brought up. So we got 16 first. This is a ready complete C++. Does anyone have any other questions other than the what's it called? These types of questions, the shape questions, so that in case we run over time, we'll get like the other ones done first, and then if needed, we could do more of these at the end. No.
Problem 138 and like 141, those are like math type questions. If yeah.
Okay, 138. 115. 160. No, I went too far. 146. 42. 141. 140. Yeah, the hardest questions are usually the shape questions, but just in case people have other questions, we need to do those as well. So write C++ Sapiens to carry out the following tasks. Do not write complete programs, just give a few lines of C++ code, assuming the following variables would have been declared and initialized with positive values. Okay. Print X copies of the number Y on a single line of output. Okay, so what do we know ahead of time? Also, if I do go a little too fast, or if sometimes I forget how to speak. So do let me know if it is a bit like you can't hear me, or I went too fast for me to go over something again, or if I do make mistakes. So please let me know. You could raise your hand or like feel free to interrupt. But okay, so we know that X is a positive integer. Y is also a positive integer. So this means they're both declared. Okay, so there's both greater than 0, fine. So print X copies of the number Y on a single line of output. Okay, how do we do this? Well, we see that we're doing a single task multiple times, right? So we're printing Y X times. Do you see that? Does everyone see that? So whenever we know how many times we have to do a certain task, that's right away our where do I put this? Okay. That's when we know we have to use for loop. Okay. So just moving the chat. So let's write it out here. So let's, once again, for these types of questions, you don't need to like write out the entire line of code. So let's do this. So we would do for int I is equal to, so equals 0, right? You could do this 2 ways. Let's start with 1, right? Because we need to print out X copies right here. So let's start at 1. And since we want to print out X copies, we do I is less than or equal to X. Okay. I plus plus. Right? And this will run X times. Right? If you were to start it with 0, let's do it like this. So if I is equal to 0, in that case, you would have to do I is strictly less than X. Let's put this like a little note. Let's do it in different color. No. Yeah, this is what, these are two different ways. If you do it with I equals 1, it has to go up until x inclusive. Otherwise, if I 0, it's less than x. Okay, but let's do 1. Start with 1 here. Just so because we usually start counting at 1, right? And we want to print the number y on a single line of output. So what will we do? We would do cout y. There you go. And that's your line of code. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this? Everyone good? Okay. So print the value of y as a percentage of x with output like 7.50%. Okay, so first let's do, is the 4 for the copies and then how come? Philip, are you talking about this 4? This for loop right here?
No, the one in question A.
Question A. Print x copies of the number on a single line. What are you talking about?
Like the for int I equals 1, I is less than or equal to, yeah, that one. Like the one that's like that your cursor is in.
Yeah, this is for part A. Was that the question? This is part A. Like all this is just, you're printing, see how like this is just a for loop looping over x times and you're just printing y copies. So this is technically y copies of x.
Oh, I get it.
Okay. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute. I feel like it's sometimes for these questions, it's hard to like type out what you actually want to ask, but yeah, hopefully that makes it clear. So this here. We want to print the value of y as a percentage of x with outputs like 75%. Okay, so if anything, let's do an example here. So let's let y equal 3 and x equal 4. So this is x, this is y. Okay, so as a percentage of x, y is a percentage of x. So basically what we're doing, we're printing 3 as a percentage of 4, right? So how do we do this? We would basically, well, how do you get 3 as a percentage of 4? You take 3, this is 3/4, right? And this is just 75%, right? But we want to print out the 75%. Actually, let's print out 75.0%. So how do we get from here to here? Well, let's put it out step by step. So this is an integer. This is an integer. Int. This is also an int, right? And remember, for integer division, this will always give us an integer. This will always give an int, right? But that doesn't help us here because 3 divided by 4, that's like 0.75. If it always returns an int, it's going to chop off this last 0.75. So it's going to give us 0. But we want the 0.75, right? So what do? We want to do this. We want it to go from integer division, and we want it to return a double, right? So anything with percentage points, this is a double. Double. Right here. So in order to go from integer division to a double, we have to turn one of these two into a double. Well, we could just do it like this. So let's do 3 divided by 4.0, right? And what does this help? How does this help us? Now this is an int. This is an int. This is a double. Part B, maybe please go back to the shape questions since it's almost 6 p.m. and shape questions are the most difficult ones. Sure, sounds good. Sure. So after this question, if anyone else has any other questions, could you also do 3.0 divided by 4.0? Yeah, that also works. Right, like you could do 3.0 divided by 4, or you could do both 3.0 and 4.0, right? As long as one of these two is a double, it will always return a double. Right? So then what is this going to give us? This is going to give us 0.75. Okay. And then, so we got 0.75, but we want to return it as a percent. So how do we go from 0.75 to 75.0? We multiply by 100 times 100, and we get 75. And because it is a double, because it's a double, this will always have a 0.0, and we just print out a percent sign afterwards. Okay, so how will we write that as code? We do it like this. We just do how we did it. Philip, I believe I answered your question. If once again, you could make them both doubles, but just for as long as you make one of them doubles, that's perfectly fine as well. So we would see out x divided by, and when you want to convert it to double, you gotta do double y times, let's put these in parentheses, right? So x divided by double y times 100. And we're going to add a little percent sign afterwards. There you go. So what is this going to do? Let's do this step by step. First, it's going to convert y into a double. Then it's going to divide x by y. Then it's going to multiply by 100. Then it'll print it out with a percent sign. So we get this. Okay. Is everyone okay with this? Is everyone okay with these questions? Because if I think Wardus, I'm sorry if I think it was mentioned in the chat. If everyone's okay, we could move on to another question. I think the shape questions are in demand for good reason. But everyone good with this? Other than the two people in the chat? What's give me a shape question? What's a quick shape question? What was the first one? 16. So everyone's good with this, right? Okay. Taking the silence as everyone's good. 16. This is 8. 15, 16. Oh God. Sorry, I have a question on the last one. Sure, no problem. Which part? Last one. This one, right? Alyssa. Sorry if I butcher one of your names. Please correct me. But this one, I believe, right? You're talking about? Okay. If y is greater than 10, print the second digit of y. Okay. So let's go step by step. First step, we want to check if is y greater than 10. What would we use? Let's use an if statement. So if y is greater than 10, right? Greater than 10, print the second digit of y. Print the second digit of y. So we want to print second digit of y. I believe we will use a while loop here. Okay, fine. Okay, the reason why I'm saying we might use a while loop is because if it's greater than 10, right? Sorry, I meant part B, converting something to a double. Which part? This part right here? Yes, okay. So does anyone have any questions about this? I feel like this one, did you how to use a if statement and a while loop within just to trim it down and then you get a second digit? This isn't bad, but continue E. I will continue E after we can talk about this. Okay. All right, sounds good. So Alyssa, you're talking about this portion right here, right? Right. So since we know that y is an int, right? Y is an int. But we need it to be a double to get a double as an answer, right? So then what we do in programming is this, I believe this is called typecasting, is for any variable, if you want to like convert it in quotation marks, like convert it, then you just put like whatever you want to convert it to over here, right? But you can't, I mean, you could use string. No, there's different methods. But like, for example, here, we want y is an int, but we want to turn it into a double right here. I want to turn it into a double so that we'll get a double as an answer, right? So first we just use typecast. We put it in parentheses right here so that it converts y. Y goes from whatever it was here, 4, goes from 4 to 4.0. 4.0. Right? So then this becomes 3 divided by 4.0. Without this double, if we were to like ignore it right here, if we just didn't do it, then it would be 3 divided by 4, which, remember, integer division, this will give us a 0, which is not what we wanted. So we had to convert it to the double. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense? Once again, I'm just assuming silence means everything's good. Noted. Do we need to include CMath? No, we don't need that because this is like a built-in. And you only use like include CMath or other stuff when you need to like use a different method, right? So this is when you need to do methods like I believe you've seen like something was it math.random, something like that. Remember, I'm more of a Java guy, but whenever you have to use different methods, that's when you have to use #include the library you're using. Otherwise, like for the double, we don't need to use any different libraries. Okay. Right. All right. Continuing on E, I believe that was requested. So this statement checks if it's greater than 10. Okay. We want to print a second digit. So what do we do here? Remember, if Y, let's say Y is something like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We want to print the second digit. We want to print 2, right? So then how do we do that? First, we need to trim it to just the second digit, just 2 digits, and then we just print the last digit. All right, so let's do the second step first. If this is going to be, so assuming at this step, you only need a while loop. I only need a while loop. Okay, I do need a while loop. So let's do this. While y is greater than the biggest 2-digit number that can like exist is 99, right? So while it's greater than 99, what do we want to do? We want to trim it. We would do y divide equals by 10. We don't need the outer. Oh, we don't need the outer if. Okay. Actually, yeah, let's do it this way, and then I'll show. We'll take out the if statement because we don't. This ends up. Yeah. We'll do y divided by 10, and then we'll just print out because assuming once it hits.
Oh, I see. Okay. How are people getting so deep? Question 176.
God. Oh God. I'm so sorry. Actually scared me. Heart. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, it's gonna take me a second to get back to okay. While it's greater than 10, while it's greater than 2 digits, we just chop off the last digit, and afterwards, assuming at this line right here, it is now 2 digits, or now it's at least 2 digits. Let's print out cout y mod 10. Anyways, but yeah, this is pretty much it. No, don't worry, Spencer, don't worry. It's all good. Just gotta do my breathing. Can we use y1? What do you mean by y1? Are you talking about like dot char at or y dot at? Is that a method? I think that's only for strings. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. Why do you put mod with y? You're talking about here? It's a different way of getting a char. Hmm. So the thing with that, the y square bracket 1, which I'm hesitant to use here, is because those are for mostly strings. Like you use, like the method you're talking about is dot char at. I believe you'll learn it later. So like dot char at, and then you do something like a number here, right? And this will return like a string of the character at that index. However, for here, because these are numbers, I would try to avoid that. Char as is in char at. Oh, char is in Java. Sorry, I get confused between Java and C++. But anyways, that method you're talking about, that I wouldn't use that here. Just because these are numbers. What you're talking about, I believe it's for strings. So I would avoid it. Okay, okay. Where did you, there was another question somewhere, I got lost in the chat. Someone asked something about mod. Why did you put mod with y? Because we only want the second digit of y. Right, so it's like say if y is 2 digits, y is 15. We only want the second digit. How do we get the second digit? We always take it mod 10. So 15 mod 10 is 5. You see here, 5 is the second digit we want. Who asked that question? JV, does that make sense? Okay, got it. No problem, no problem. Does anyone have any questions about this? Yeah, this is how I would do it. You could, I believe Mike said you could do it without the if statement, but just for like peace of mind, I would add it. Just because if y is greater than, if y is 1 digit, like say y is 6, the second digit of y, this doesn't have a second digit, so this would still print 6 though, which would technically be wrong. But just for peace of mind, I would include the if statement. Okay, does anyone have any questions about here? Anything here? What's the purpose of putting 99? The reason why we put 99, right, is because that's the, I'm drawing. 99 is the greatest number, like, so of the 2 digits with 2 numbers, right? 1 number, 2 number, we always want the second digit. 99 is the greatest, like, integer that has only 2 digits, right? You could go 10, 11, 12, up until 99, right? Because right after 99, you hit 100, then 101, then dot, dot, dot. And these are all 3 digits, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So the reason why we put 99, we use the greatest because this, so basically with the while loop, let me explain a bit about while loop. And don't worry, we'll go a bit over 6 p.m. and answer some more questions because we did start a bit late with the email confusion. So don't worry about time a bit. But we use the greatest because the reason why we have this while loop here is we only want to trim off the last number digit if the number is greater than 2 digits. So let's use the example we have, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, the second digit would be 2, right? It'll be there. Second digit here will be 2. So we want to print out 2. However, if we were to just skip this while loop and this goes straight to C out, this would print out 4 because this is the last digit. We don't want that. So what do? We keep chopping off the last digit until it's only a 2-digit number that remains. All right, so let's go 1 by 1. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 is greater than 99. So we chop out the last digit, divide equals 10. Now it's 1, 2, 3, still greater than 99. Do that. And 12. 12 is 12 greater than 99? Nope. So we go after the while loop and we just figure out the second digit. Does that make sense? Another way you could write this is like if y is greater than or equal to 100. right? Because this is just ensuring that if the number is 3 digits or more, we want to reduce it to 2 digits. And the greatest 2-digit number that exists is 99. So like if it's 99, just return 9. Does that make sense, Philip? Can we put if y is less than 99 or y is greater than 10, see out y mod 10 and still get the right answer? Okay, let's try it out. Let's try out your code. Try it out here. So, bit of experimentation. I'm running low on real estate. Gonna have to erase some. It's gone. Okay. Running low. All right, let's use an example. Give me an example. Let's use 1, 2, 3. Let's use 2 examples. A 1-digit number, 1. 2-digit number, 12. And 3-digit number, 3. We're good. So, y is 1. Is 1 less than 99? Yup. So divide see out 1 mod 10, which is 1. So we got 1. Is 1 a 2-digit? Does 1 have a second digit? No. So should we be printing any second digit? No, because it's a 1-digit number, it doesn't have a second digit. So for this test case, it shouldn't print anything. So right off the bat, because this is or, right off the bat, it fails for the case of 1-digit numbers. Let's check 2-digit numbers. Is 12 less than 99? Correct. Is 12 weird? Well, right off the bat, because it's less 99, the entire statement is true, but let's check the seconds apart. Is y also greater than 10? Correct. See out, also have a little less than or equal to, because remember, these are also counts as 2-digit numbers. So we want, just for this code. But this 12 count, yep, is second digit 2, print out mod 10. This is going to print out 2. So it works. Checks out. So now, let's do this. 123. Can we change the or to and? Sure, let's try that after this, but let's see for 123. 123. Is 123 less than or equal to 99? Nope. Is it greater than or equal to 10? Yes. See out the last digit, 3. So we give us 3. But we wanted 2. So it's wrong. So let's use a little fix, you said. Fixie uppy. And I'm just gonna include the equals. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay. Is 1 less than or equal to 99? Yup. Is 1 greater than or equal to 10? Nope. Doesn't work. So it was good. We don't want 1, so it doesn't give us 1. Is 12 less than or equal to 99? Yep. In the chat, Mike sent practice 1 PDF. So just want to let you guys know. Is 12 greater than or equal to 10? Correct. See out's 2. Great. Is 123 less than or equal to 99? No. Is it greater than or equal to 10? Yes, but because this is and, this is false. False and true is one more question. Hard. That's complicated. Sure. Sure, we could do another shape question. Also, I mentioned this before, because we started a bit late, we can go a bit after 6 p.m. So maybe around 6:15 or maybe 6:30 the latest, just in case if we don't finish this now. But okay. We'll do question 60 next. Okay, 123. False and true is false. It won't print out anything. But remember, what is the question asking us? If y is greater than 10, print the second digit. Is 123 greater than 10? Yeah, so do we want the second digit? We want 2. So if it doesn't print 2, that means we didn't get it right. So that's why we can't use this. Does that make sense? Because regardless of what y is, if it's greater than 10, we want the second digit. That's why we had to use the if and then the while loop. Does that make sense? Who asked that question? Shakur, Rahman? Does that make sense? Why? All right, no problem. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions about this before we move on to question 60? 60. Anyone good? Everyone good? Never. These ones try to use a bit of logical deduction. The hardest questions are indeed the shape questions. I agree with you on that. But don't spend too much time on those questions. When I took Chyn, I don't think I did either. It's fine. You gotta hope you got an easy. Yeah, that's the thing with Chyn. It's always a toss up. It's either gonna be like an easy triangle, or she'll get something like this, which is AIDS. Anyways, just tank the 5 points. Still pass. I still pass. Whoa, we're still getting people. Amazing. A bit. There you go. Write a complete C++. Yes, if anyone does need to leave before 6 p.m., like I said, we're gonna go a bit longer because we did start a bit late. Sorry about that. That's for the emailing and stuff. But we'll stay a bit longer, answer a few more questions afterwards. But yes, before you leave, please complete the feedback form. Anyways, C++ program that asks the user to enter a positive integer n. If n is not positive, the program must terminate as once. Blah, blah, blah. Then the program should print a square of side n that is made up from large backwards letter L made of hashtags. All side. Yes. Okay. So Chyn 101 right off the bat. Hashtag include IOStream. Before you try and tank the question, always get the most bonus points. I can be smaller. I can be bigger. Whoa. That changes everything. Okay. Using namespace standard. Int main. Return 0. Easy 2 points right there. Okay. When will the recording be posted and where can we find it? I believe the recording will be posted either later today or maybe tomorrow. Not sure. And Mike, if you could in the chat, please, I think it was shared before. It will be posted on the Learning Commons site. So yeah, Mike will share it. So let's do this. Let's get the easy stuff over with once. So int n. So yep, Ming will also send an email. So let's do this. Let's see out. Enter a positive integer n. C 52 and 86, sure. CNN, right? And what do we say? If n is not positive, the program must terminate at once. So if n is less than 0, then what do we do? Return 0. This will terminate the program. Gone. Don't use AI. Okay. Okay, so that's the easy part. Now comes the difficult. Everyone's still able to see the writing? Just making it a bit small so I can fit more. Okie dokie. Enter a positive. So we want to go for int I. Let's do R. R is 0. R is less than n. R plus plus. Like I said, always get the stuff you could do easy out of the way. For int C is equal to 0. C is less than n. C plus plus. Oops. Okay. No. Okay, and we're just gonna have a C out and line. All right. So here comes the who is 6 p.m. Why do you put less than instead of less than or equal to for C and R and C? That depends on where we start. Okay, so look here. If we start at 0, that means this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See how we only go up to row 6 or column 6? Same thing here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? See how this only goes up to 6 if we start at 1, if we start at 0? Yep. So depending on where we start from, that'll impact whether we put less than or equal to. Say if I started at 1, that would change everything. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then we can do this. Okay. All right. For everyone here, do you guys want to start from, actually, let's start from 0. Let's see how it is from 0. And we'll see. So let's look at the pattern. When R is 0, where does it print the things? When they're both even. So R is 0, 0. Prints it even. 0, 4. Oh, sorry, 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, 5. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 4, 0, 6. So what are we seeing so far from the first row? When the row is even and the column is even, we print a movement. How are people still joining? Anyways, okay. R is even, row is even. We print a hashtag. Pound sign otherwise. Otherwise, if R is even and C is odd, you print a 0. Okay, or this is O. Yeah, it's an O. Now let's look here. When R is odd and let me ignore those. This is messing me up. Sorry. So what are we on? R is even, and if C is even, if they're both even, you print a hash. Same thing here. If R is odd, you only print it if it's hold up. Yeah, they're scaring me. R is odd. One sec. Let me answer. What question is this? I don't want to waste too much time on it. Page 27. See how they did it. Question 60. Problem 60. 61, 62. Okay. X equals R. If C is greater than or equal to R, X equals C. X mod 2. Oh God. All right, one second. Let me. Here it is. I feel like this is going to be way too difficult to explain. Let me show you guys the code for it. This is not going to be here. Okay. This is what the professor wrote. Okay. Do you guys want me to explain it? Because like I said, this is like for Chyn's exams, the shapes, these are like the parts where you should definitely leave for last. Because everyone can see my screen, right? I'm sharing the correct screen. Yes, okay. So we got this, we got this, we got this. Great, great, great. Oh, less than or equal to. Okay, fine. See, we here they started at 1. and they went less than or equal to. Okay. Yeah, so definitely like this is difficult, but on the exam it should be pretty easy. Not pretty easy, but like definitely easier than this. This is overkill for a introduction to problem solving. Man, if only we had these types of questions for our programming interviews. Anyways, for int c is 1, yada yada yada. So x equals r, sure. If c is greater than or equal to r, x equals c. If x mod 2 is equal to n mod 2, c out, else c out. So once again, who asked this question? I believe it was Warda. Sorry to pronounce your name wrong, but is she still here? Are you still here? There you are.
Yes, thank you.
This is this is the answer. I'm not gonna. The reason why I'm showing it because I would not be able to write this on my own, and I don't think Chyn's crazy enough to expect CS111 to.
Really, or like when you look for the 300 questions, she says on the top of it, these are questions from past midterms, which is like why I'm concerned. Like that's why I asked this question.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, but I would expect something. Nothing this complex. This is overkill, in my opinion. I don't think. Yeah, apparently these are all past exams. I mean, to be fair, these are all Rebecca's. So if she does, if you want to get partial credit, include these portions that we included when we did it. But I I doubt she's gonna get something this difficult on the exam.
If you could just explain, okay, I get the beginning, I get the end. If you could just explain the part where it says if C is greater than or equal to R, X equals C, and the next line, if you could just explain those two lines, I'd be very grateful. Thank
Sure,
you.
I will attempt. Let me read this. X is equal to R. Okay, so X is gonna be the rows. If the column number we're on is greater than the row, can I go over something on it? I have no idea what's going to be on the exam. It's been, how long has it been? 2 years since I took this class? So maybe it's going to be a shape, nothing this standard triangle. But okay, so we're basically seeing is these two lines are checking. Is the row number we're on greater than like, are we on row? Let me, one sec. Let me take this back here. So basically like these two lines here, they're checking whether we're on a higher row number or a higher column number, if that makes sense. So like say if row is row 3 and column's row 4. Not column. We're on column 3 and row 3 and column 4. I can't speak. Then we initially set it equal to the row number, row 3, right? And then if we're on a higher column number, then we'll like switch over to now this is a column number, right? So now X is equal to the column number we're on. And then we do the comparison. This is similar to I think the comparison we did here. Where is it? Right here. So we checked if it's even and it's odd, if it's etc. So like here it would be, we would set row equal to 0, X is 0, and for each column we would update it, right? Taking the maximum of both, right? And afterwards we would check, like, are they both even? Are they both odd? If they're both the same parity, let's go back here. If they're both the same parity, like this is checking if they're both even or they're both odd, then we print out the hashtag. Otherwise, if they're opposite parity, that means we print out the O. Does that make sense? Does that clear it up a bit? Hopefully.
Yes, thank you.
Sounds good. But like I said, like me and Mike said, this is overkill. You're not gonna get anything like this. This is does anyone have any other questions? Maybe another shape question they want to go over that's possibly solvable.
What I think for the shape question is like mostly about like even and odd and find a pattern of like one like rows and column. That is like be on the test, like not like those like very difficult problem will not be on the test. And remember, your test only will be 50 minutes, like only 50 minutes. So she won't ask very difficult question.
It won't be easy, but it won't be like that hard. So write a simply C++ program that asks the user to enter an odd positive integer n if n is illegal. Okay, so that's easy. The program must terminate at once. Otherwise, the program should print a squares of stars that begin with an n by n. She doesn't give partial credit on question. She gives a, I think she gives a ton of, I'm not sure. Wait, she does, for me, she gave a bunch of partial credit. Like, as long as you have like parts that are good, yeah, she gives a lot. Like I said, where is it here? For question 60, where is it? Question 60. If you have these portions, like right here, if you have this, I think that's like at least, if this question's like 10 points, that's at least 4 or 5 points right there. Like, given a bulk of this is like in the if statement, if you have all of this, that's still a decent amount of partial credit. Chyn gives a lot of partial credit, so you shouldn't worry about that. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't waste too much time on the. Yep. Don't waste too much time on like questions that are excessively difficult. Try and do what you can, and then try to like split your time smartly. Anyways, if n is illegal, otherwise the program should print square of n's. Okay. And begin with an n by n square and end with a 1 by 1 square that the sizes of the squares decreased by 2 shall line up. Okay, fine. God damn these stupid shape questions. What is there? What even is it's oh shoot. Is Chyn gonna damn it, this is gonna be recorded. No, I don't want to be mean. Don't fire me, Chyn. I love your exams. These are amazing. Namespace standard, int main. Please don't fire me. Return 0. So first we want to print, okay. Okay, int n, sure. Cout, enter an odd positive integer n. Cnn if n mod 2 is not equal to 1 or n is less than or equal to 0, return 0. Or int r is equal to, let's use 1 this time. Wait. Philip's back. Welcome back, Philip. So we go, so this first one is going to be a 5.
The Chinese, the new high part.
Who's speaking? All right, no one's speaking. We're good. This is a 5 by 5. This is a 3 by 3. This is a 1 by 1. So I'm assuming you go down by 2 each time. So what does that mean? That's going to be 5 plus It's going to be a different one. 52. Three S. Oh, so this is a triple for loop. Figured. Okay, fine. So let's start at the first square. So this is our first square. Square is equal to n. Square is greater than or equal to 1. And we subtract the sides by 2. Minus equals 2. Okay. So now let's use the inner for loop. So we're going to start. This is our typical. So for int, rho is equal to 1. The rho is less than or equal to, instead of n, let's now use s, because now s is keeping track of the size of the square. Oh, this isn't that bad. This s is keeping track of the size of the square. Okay. Less than or equal to s, r plus plus. And now we have, oops. For int column is equal to 1. Column is also less than or equal to s, c plus plus. And then we got, let's just include, like I said, try and do as much as partial as you can. Rather get 4 points than 0. So now we got this. So now what's our if statement? See out. That is not return 0. That is see out and line. It's been a long day, everyone. I gotta do another one of these reviews tomorrow, is that right? Oh, damn it. Okay. So now, what do we want? We want to print if, so this is just gonna go to column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So if the column number is going to be n, so n is, so s is whatever n is. So s is a square 1, this is square 1, this is square 2, this is square 3. If, and n is like 7, let's say n is 5 here. Here s is going to be 5. S is going to be 3. S is going to equal 1. So we want to print out. So if, let's do this. S and n is 5. We want to compare these two values with c. So let's check. 1 compared to 5 and 5. How about this? If c is greater than 5 minus 5, right? Or 5 minus whatever s is, minus s, then we print out a star. Otherwise, we print out a space. Let's check it. So here it works because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all greater than 5 minus 5, right? So c is always greater than 0. Here, 1 and 2 are not greater than 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So the only ones that are print are 3, 4, 5. And here, because C is S is 1. So the only number that's greater than 1, 5 minus 1 is 4. The only number that's greater than 4 is 5. So this works out. So let's use this here. That's going to be if. And if anyone has any questions, please speak now or forever hold your silence. If n c is greater than n minus s, I want to see out a star. Else, see out space. And that's it. That's our code. Is everyone good with that? This one's another
I'm
doozy.
sorry. Do you mind just re-explaining? Like, I understand where you said that C is greater than 0.
Mm-hmm.
And then C is greater than 2. Are you
Mm-hmm.
just counting the parts that have the stars in it?
Yes, so like if you look here, see how we have, I'm saying the word C too much. But if you look at the first square, right? The first square, it prints stars in columns 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So all 5 of the columns, it prints a star, right? So we want to find a way to compare these column numbers somehow to S. And remember, we also have N here, right? We want to compare N and S to these column numbers somehow. So if we see here, it gets printed at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if you take N, because N stays the same, and you subtract S, because S changes, S goes down by 2 each time. If the row column number we're on is greater than N minus S, then print a star. Right? So in this first square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What does S equal, and where'd you get the S from?
S is right here. See how there's like a third outer loop? So S is the size of the square we're on. Size of square. Right? So S is going to be the size of the square at each iteration. So the first iteration, this is a 5 by 5 square. Second is a 3 by 3. Third is a 1 by 1. See how it starts at 5 and it goes down by 2 each time? So that fits what we want. Does that make sense? To the
Yes,
person.
thank you.
Okay. And now we could use that S as well as the N value and compare. Is the column we're on, is it greater than the number we initially inputted and the current size of the square? If it is, then print a star. If it isn't, print a space. So for the second square, we see S is 3. S is 3. N is always going to be 5. So N minus S, that's 2. And we only print stars when C is 3, 4, and 5. So we check which of these numbers is greater than, all 3 of these share one thing, they're all greater than 2, which is N minus S. And that's why we have it here. If C is greater than N minus S, C out star. Otherwise, we have space. Make sense?
Thank you.
No problemo. Okay, so that's this question. Does anyone have any other questions? Preferably not shape. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, let's wrap up. Does anyone have any non-shape questions? I swear, if I see one more shape question, I'm going to lose it. Anyone have any non-shape questions? Any other non-shape questions? I'm joking, by the way. If anyone has any quick questions. 56. Please, God, no shape questions. No, my word. We're not doing that question. I'm sorry. You're not going to get something like this. I'm not. You're not going to get something like this on your exam. Please, no more. Any other questions? I'm so sorry. What's his name? Usman, I'm so sorry. Like, no offense, but this is like overkill. Chyn, there's no way you're gonna be able to complete this in 4 other questions. Was it 4 or 5 other questions in 50 minutes? So like, rather don't. Like the first one that we did, this one, even though it's a bit more complicated, this one's fair because this is just like 3 for loops. But if anything, you'll have like a double for loop, which is fine. So like, not this either. Overkill. Does anyone have any other questions? And before you leave, please, Mike, send the feedback form. All right, there you go. You send it. Any other questions? Speak now or forever hold your silence. Once again, guys.
Question, do you have any random questions, like parentheses questions that you could that you think might be something she could ask on an exam?
Did Chyn go over Rand?
Yes, she did. On lecture 10, she did. She said those would be on the test also.
Oh, sure. Let's do this one. Print to the screen a random integer between 1 and the score. Fine, let's do this one. Yay, a non-shape question. Rand. Okay. So when it comes to Rand, this is where you're gonna have to import the library. So you're gonna have to import. Well, here you don't need to give. Yeah, here you don't need to import anything. But in general, when you do, you need two libraries. So hashtag include. I believe it's C standard library, and hashtag include C time. But here you don't need to do those here because it is just asking for one line of code. So anyways, so let's do this. C out. C out. So there's a specific formula for it. It is, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, math. It is max minus min plus min random. What was the formula again? Sorry. I don't remember these things. C plus plus random number in range. Yeah, so you would do rand max minus min plus 1. Yeah, so min, yeah. So that's the formula. So it's going to be min, so that's 1 plus, I think it's a rand. Look, these are rand. So we got to do rand modulus. So it's going to be the max. And remember, double is a score. Score is a double. I'm losing my mind. Score is a double. So we must convert it to an integer first. So we do int score. Just put this in parentheses as well. So int score -1 plus 1. There you go. So that's a general formula. It's, if you want for reference, here, gonna be rand modulus max minus min plus 1 plus min. So that's the minimum is 1, maximum is score. We got to convert it to from a double to an integer. And yep, there it is. Everyone okay with that? Who asked the question? To whoever asked the question, are you good with this portion?
Thank you.
No problem.
And
And
could you also do part E really fast if there's time? Sorry.
part E, no problem, no problem. We got 2 minutes. This is a 1-minute thing. Print the user's name 20 times on one line of output. Remember, whenever you want to do something a specific amount of times, and it says how many times you're doing it, for loop. So for int, I is, let's start at 1, I is less than or equal to 20, I plus plus, C out, name. And that's it. Because it's one line, you don't need to put an end line afterwards, because it's one line output.
For part D, the formula you gave us, is that the standard formula for rand questions?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it's the, for what in C++ is the formula. So it's min plus, you can rearrange this like right here. What is it? Here. You could put the min before as well. So it's going to be min plus rand, parentheses, because this is a function, rand percent max minus min plus 1. And like I said, before you do it, like you have to include these two libraries as well, in addition to hashtag include IOStream. So you would do, and its main, you would have to declare some, I forget what you have to use a time, but she explains it in the slides. This is the general formula for it. Okay. Any other questions? Final thoughts? Anything?
Are there any other rand questions you could ask us other than this type?
I do not think so. Because in general, either this, it's like a one-liner, or like she'll tell you to implement it within the code, which in case you'll have to use you have to include like hashtag include C standard library, C time. I think that's it. But in addition, it's like it's gonna be the beginning. So hashtag include IO stream using namespace standard int main. So I believe this, what was it? It's you gotta set the time because basically the random function, it uses the time function. So you're gonna have to, yeah, so srand time 0. Thank you, Mike, for that. And then afterwards, you could use the random. You have to include this. Can I highlight? Can I highlight? No, I can't highlight, damn it. You have to include this, you have to include these two as well. Okay. Everyone good with that? Is everyone good? Does anyone have any other questions? Yes, please, before you leave, fill out the feedback form. This is very important. If you don't fill out the feedback form, me and Mike will not get paid. I'm joking. We still get paid regardless of whether you fill it out or not. But please fill it out. It's very helpful. We'll know how to what's the word? I don't know. We'll do better next time.
Do we have time for question 16?
Question 16. Oh god. C++ and symbols one above another. Each triangle has rows. Ooh, wait. Okay. No, actually, I feel like, yeah, we should finish for now. This one shouldn't be bad though. This one, I think they actually, this one's on the solutions. Let's just show the solution real quick before we head out for this one. Which question was it? 16, 22, 18, 17, 16. It's gonna, yeah, this is 3 for loops. You're probably not gonna get a triple for loop in all likelihood. It's most likely gonna be double. Yeah, this is the answer for it. Sound good. Everyone else is good. I think that's a good place to stop.
Do you mind just explaining the 3 for loops if you have time? Sorry.
No problem, no problem. So the first for loop, so see how this like this is a first shape, this is a second shape, this is a third and fourth, right? So the outermost for loop is for each individual shape. So this is the first shape. We start at 1. Then it's the second. See how there's like 4 triangles? So we print out 4 separately. That's why we have the outermost for loop. And the inner 2 for loops right here, well, these are for like these are printing out these individual shapes. So that's why we have 3 for loops. Sound good? Does that answer the question?
How she get T mod 2 equal to 0 and then T mod 2 equal to 1, and what's the reason for that?
T mod 2 equal to 0 and C is less than T mod 2 is equal to 1. Oh, because depending on which triangle you're on, you have to print it a different triangle. So if you're on triangle 1, you print it like this. So if you're on an even numbered triangle, so this is triangle 3, you print it like this, top to bottom. However, if you're on an odd number triangle, like 0, no, I'm sorry, I reversed that. Triangle 1, triangle 3, odd number triangles, print a triangle like this. Even number triangle, you print it like this. That's why we have it like this. There's 2. Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's good. There you go. Been a long day, everyone. But yeah, that should be good. I believe you're all well prepared.